In a strong message to China, the Philippines have made it clear that it would turn to the US for military help during ongoing flare-ups between Manila and Beijing in the South China Sea. Philippines Foreign Secretary Teodoro Locsin Jr. said Manila would invoke its defense agreement with the US if China attacks its naval vessels in the disputed waters. If something happens that is beyond incursion but is, in fact, an attack on say a Filipino naval vessel, means then I call up Washington, D.C., he added. Since 1951, the U.S. and the Philippines have had a mutual defense treaty that commits them to support each other in the event if either is attacked. The comments by the Philippines Foreign Secretary marks the first time President Rodrigo Duterte administration openly declaring its intention to side with the U.S. against the Chinese expansionist agenda. The Foreign Secretary said Manila would continue air patrols over the South China Sea despite Beijing calling it an illegal provocation. They can call it an illegal provocation, you cannot change their minds. They already lost the arbitral award, he said, referring to the 2016 decision by an international tribunal that ruled against China's expansive claims to the South China Sea. Locsin also said the U.S. military presence in Asia is needed as the rivalry between Washington and Beijing has intensified. He added it would be in the Philippines' interest for the U.S. to maintain its military presence in the region, and he reiterated the country never stopped cooperation with its longtime security ally. We have a balance of power situation, we need the U.S. presence in Asia, he stated. The two powers are arguing over issues from trade to what the U.S. sees as aggressive moves by China's armed forces, especially in the disputed South China Sea and around Chinese-claimed Taiwan. The U.S. has long opposed China's territorial claims on the South China Sea, regularly sending warships to demonstrate freedom of navigation there. It hardened its position last month by rejecting Chinese maritime claims in the South China Sea, a move that Beijing condemned. On August 24, Philippines Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana accused China of illegally occupying Filipino maritime territory and said, China's 9-line used to claim most of the South China Sea as a fabrication. The remarks came amid a fresh row between both countries over the disputed Scarborough Shoal, which has been a flashpoint for a long. The Philippines Foreign Ministry lodged a diplomatic protest last week over what it said was the illegal confiscation by China's Coast Guard of fishing equipment near the shoal. China condemned patrols in the South China Sea and declared its beyond reproach and air patrols by the Philippines infringe on its sovereignty. Beijing defended the Coast Guard's activities and urged Manila to immediately stop what it described as illegal provocations. Lorenzana made it clear that the area was within the country's exclusive economic zone (EEZ). China's so-called historical rights over an area enclosed by their 9-line do not exist except in their imagination, he said. Our fishermen are within our EEZ and likewise our ships and planes conduct patrol sorties within our area. They are the ones who have been doing provocations by illegally occupying some features within our EEZ. They have no right to claim they are enforcing their laws, he further added. In 2012, China had seized Scarborough from the Philippines following a tense standoff. The shoal, one of the region's richest fishing grounds, is located 240 kilometers west of the Philippines' main island of Luzon and 650 kilometers from the nearest major Chinese landmass. The southern island province of Hainan is one of the region's richest fishing grounds. China claims most of the sea, often invoking its so-called 9-line to justify its alleged historic rights to the key waterway that is also contested by the Philippines, Malaysia, Vietnam, Taiwan, and Brunei. It rejected a 2016 UN-backed tribunal's ruling that its claims were without legal basis. Meanwhile, a U.S. Navy warship has transited the narrow and sensitive Taiwan Strait, Taiwan's defense ministry said. The second such operation in 2 weeks amid rising tensions between China and the United States. The ministry said a U.S. destroyer, which it did not name, had sailed in a southerly direction through the strait and was continuing to sail south. The ship was on an ordinary mission, and the situation was normal, the ministry added, without giving details. Taiwan President Tsai Ing-wen warned last week of the risk of accidental conflict from the rise in military activities. China claims Democratic Taiwan as its own territory and has never renounced the use of force to bring the island under its control. The United States is Taiwan's main arms supplier and most important backer on the international stage.